In this video, I'm going to show you how to run Postgres locally using Docker on your machine. I'm using a Mac here. So to do that, first you need to install Docker on your machine. Open your browser and go to docker.com and hover over this button here. You'll see various options. I'm going to select Apple Silicon. As I've already installed Docker, I'm not going to install it again. So after installation, you will see this icon here. Click on it and go to the Docker dashboard. This is the Docker desktop dashboard where you'll see all your containers, images, volumes listed here. Now go back to the terminal. I'm going to run a few commands to start a Postgres container locally. I'm going to write docker run. I'm going to give a container name. Let's call it my container, and I'm going to set an environment variable here. That's the Postgres password. I'll keep the password as my secret. I'm going to map the port 5432 of this device to port 5432 of the Docker container, because Postgres by default runs on port 5432, and I'm going to run this in a detached mode. That means it'll exit the terminal after I run this command, and I'm going to set the image name as Postgres. What this will do is it'll look for the Postgres image on Docker Hub and pull it. Let's hit enter now. As you can see, I got this ID. This is the ID of the container that we just created. If we go back to the Docker desktop dashboard, you can see a container is running here 12 seconds ago. You can see the port mapping as well. The image is Postgres. This is the ID. This is the name that we set in the command. We can connect to this database using a few different ways. Let's first connect using pgAdmin. I'm going to right click on this, register a server here, give it a name. You can name it whatever you want. My database. Click on the connections tab, write the host name as localhost, port 5432, maintenance database is Postgres, username is Postgres, and password my secret. Save this, go to databases, Postgres, schemas, tables. As you can see, there are no tables currently. That means we have connected to the database successfully using pgAdmin. Now we'll connect to the database using a CLI tool called psql. Let's see how to do that. I'll write docker exec-it. That means I'll execute some commands in the Docker container that we created. We have to give the container name as well, my container. What this says is run some commands in the interactive mode on this container, and you have to pass the commands here. Command is psql-u postgres. This means sign in to the Postgres database with a user of Postgres. By default, Postgres sets the username as Postgres. You can set the username as well using the environment variables in the first command, but by default Postgres uses username as Postgres. So we'll hit enter. As you can see, now we can run commands inside the container. I'll write \dt. This command gets the number of tables in the database. As you can see, there are currently no tables in the database, so let's create a table. I'm going to write an SQL command, create table. I'll give this a name of example, and I'll create a field named user of type char semicolon. Hit enter. It's giving me an error. Let's rename it, give this column a different name, data. See if that works. Yes, as you can see, it has created a table. To verify this, let's go back to the pgAdmin, right click on the tables, refresh, and now you can see it has created a table named example here. That means the pgAdmin is connected to the database successfully, and we have connected to the database via the CLI as well. Now if you want to connect to your DB using your Node.js application or Next.js application or some other framework that you're using, you can simply construct a connection string like this, PostgreSQL : You will have to provide the username, that's Postgres by default, and the password, that was my secret, and @ symbol, and mention the host here as localhost as we are running this locally, and mention the port 5432 / the DB name. The DB name by default is Postgres. You can also set this using the environment variables in the first command. So you can use this connection string in your env files like this. So that's it for this video. I hope you liked it. Thank you.